This week we have a very special Torah reading. Besides reading the regular weekly portion, we also read a special reading of Parshas HaChodesh, which is the reading of the new moon. When the Jewish people left Egypt, and we're getting closer to Passover, as we'll discuss some Passover items shortly as well. But the first commandment the Jewish people got is quite an interesting one. The commandment was to bless the new moon. We know every month the moon gets smaller, gets bigger, and in the Jewish calendar, the moon basically shrinks down to zero. When it gets small again, that's the end of the month. The new month begins with no moon there. And by the middle of the month, you have the full moon 15 days later, and then it shrinks smaller and bigger, smaller and bigger. This is the first commandment that the Jewish people should go outside, recognize this, and make a blessing over the moon at the beginning of the month. The question is, out of all the commandments in the world, 613 of them, why is this the number one, the first commandment given? And there's a beautiful answer, was the Jewish people were just living in Egypt for many, many years, and they were sad, and they gave up a little bit. A lot of hope was gone from them. They didn't know what was going to be. And God took them outside and said, look outside, look at the new moon. The moon is nothing, but we know the moon's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. And it might get small, and it will get smaller again. And that represents life. Life's about challenges, ups and downs, and especially when there's a zero, you see no moon, or just the first sliver of the moon, you have to keep in mind that eventually will give more hope to everyone else. And when you have that in mind, a person can go further and understand the challenges he has and overcome them also. We'll now continue with the singing of Lechadodi, the song we sing Friday night, written by the great Rabbi of Shlomo Alkabetz in the late 1400s. Lechadodi lekras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela lechadodi lekras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmiyanu kel hamyuchad Hashem echad Ushma hoyachad L'shemo seferes v'l'sila Chadodi l'kras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela L'kras Shabbos l'chuvin elcha Ki mekor haberacha meirosh mikedem nesucha Sov ma'aseh b'machshavot chila lechadodi lekras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela mikdash melech Ir melucha kumitzi mitoch ha'afecha Rav lach sheves b'yemekabacha V'hu yachamol alayichem la'lecha Dodi lekras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela Hisnari me'afar kumi Livshi bigdei sefartei chalmi Al yad ben yishai beis halachmi Karva el nafshi giyahala lecha Dodi lekras kala Pnei Shabbos nekabela Hisahoreri Kiva horechu miyori Uri, shir daberi, Gevod Hashem, alayich nigla. Lecha dodi lekras kala, Pnei Shabbos nekabela, V'hayulim shisa, shahosayich, V'rachaku kameh v'halayich, Yosis alayich elokayich, Kim sozcha sanal kala lecha dodi lekras kala. Pnei Shabbos nekabela yamin usmal tehefrotzi v'yez Hashem daritzi al yad ben yishai beis halachmi karva el nafshi geyala lecha Dodi likras kala. Oneg Shabbat nekabela bawi b'shalom. Atares ba'ala gamberino v'tzahala. Tochemune yam segula bawi kala. Bawi kala lecha dodi likras kala. Oneg Shabbat nekabela. Parsha Shmini, this week's Torah portion, discusses the kosher animals and kosher birds and kosher fish. And it's a very long list, and it goes through all the details of creating a kosher animal. And the question always arises, why do we have to keep kosher as is? Why is it one of the commandments to keep kosher? Does God really care what food we eat or what food we don't eat? And the answer is that we don't really know what God thinks, but He commands us to do so. So the question is why? And one of the things we learn out from here is that God wants us to have a certain level of control in our life. Yes, He gave us a world, and He gave us a world of pleasure. We could benefit, we could do things, we could enjoy life. We're supposed to enjoy life. It's a commandment to enjoy life. But even in all the enjoyment, you have to sometimes take a step back and say, this is something I can enjoy, this is something I cannot enjoy. So it's for our own sake to make ourselves greater, make ourselves stronger, flex our own spiritual muscles, and make the right decisions in life as well. We'll now finish with the singing of Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'es Nasa B'Chevso Kol Azai Mehelech Shemo Nikra V'Yacharei Kechlos HaKol Levahado Yimloch Nora V'Haya V'Hoveh V'Yiyeh B'Sifara V'Hu Echad V'Yein Sheni Hamshilo Lehachvira V'li Reishis V'li Sachlis V'lo Hod V'Hamizra V'Hu Keli V'Chai Goali V'Tzor Chevli V'Yes Nasa V'Hu Nisi Umanosli Minas Kosi B'Yom Ekra B'Yahado Avkid Ruchi V'Yes Ishan V'Yahira V'Yem Ruchi Gev'Yasi Ado Shemli V'Lo V'Ira. And have a happy and healthy week, a great weekend, a great Shabbat. We'll see everybody next week.